Committee's report.
My Lords, I join everyone in thanking the Noble Lady Baroness Brown of Cambridge and her committee, and look forward to its future work and future reports that hopefully will be debated more promptly. Now, this report from August 2022 reveals gaping holes where government action should have been then. We thank Imperial College London for its useful briefing, which identified how some of those gaping holes have been plugged, at least with stopgap measures. But as many other noble lords have already noted, the remaining enormous holes in the house of scientific and technological endeavour, out of which human and financial resources are fast flowing, are the lack of the UK association with the Horizon Europe programme, the disastrous hostile environment immigration policies, and the collapse in the genuine official development assistance support. The Royal Academy of Engineering also provided useful reflections, stressing principles including a willingness to act for the long term, to move with agility and at pace, trusted and capable leadership, and action that accelerates progress. Not anything with which I'm afraid this government is associated. But rather than taking pot shots, as tempting and as easy as that is, I'm going to seek to bring a unique green perspective to this debate and make three challenges to the very foundations of the government approach, and in some respects, with respects to your Lordship's committee. First is the assumption underlying much of the government's rhetoric, the science and technology framework with its talk of bringing technologies to market, of private sector involvement and profit, is that science and technology's aim is to make things or create services or intellectual property to sell. Certainly, looking at the UK RI 5-year strategy from March 2022, I'm not going to argue with the aim of driving the development, adoption and diffusion of green technologies. But also in that list is developing preventative measures to improve the nation's health and well-being. The new Secretary of State talks of helping British people to live longer, smarter, healthier and happier lives. But what if achieving that means not making things or creating services to sell, not improving profits, but finding ways to heal lives and environments without making a profit, thus cutting demand for expensive drugs or invasive treatments, ending the need for farmers to use pesticide or herbicides, or co-creating essential knowledge, working with researchers and communities in the global south, and sharing that knowledge for free. Identifying the bad things we do now and stopping them is also science, even if that means cutting profits and reducing GDP. We need to think hard about how we find funding for research and development for such measures, and that has to be a government priority. Secondly, I disagree with the 5 critical technologies identified in the science and technology framework. Crucially, there's 2 things that are not there: ecology and social innovation. And I disagree particularly with one that is. I quote, engineering biology, the application of rigorous engineering principles to the design of biological systems. That is such a 20th century reductionist, outdated view, the kind of view that we saw on full display in the creation of genetic technology, so-called Precision Breeding Act. Is this really the same government that occasionally at odd moments will claim to believe in the principles of agroecology? It claims to understand that the survival of human systems on this planet to maintain a livable climate and natural systems means working with the incredibly complex, still little understood natural systems of animals, plant, fungi, bacteria, viruses and archaea that together have created life on this planet. And finally, you might think I've been radical enough, but I'm going to finish with an even more radical third thought. The UKRI again speaks of securing UK strategic advantage in game-changing technology. But rather than thinking about beating others in a world facing the climate emergency and nature crisis, with epidemics of poverty and ill health, rampant pandemic threats, and a planet poisoned with plastics, pesticides and pharmaceuticals, we have to cooperate with others to make the best possible collective use of human ingenuity, skills, talent and time to survive and thrive this next dangerous century.
Well, I'd also like to express my appreciation to the staff